In Germany, you can drink a beer on the street, on the train, in the park, at the Christmas market, at the football stadium, at the bus stop if the mood takes you. America calls itself the land of the free, but don't let anyone see you with a can of beer on the street. Hello, willkommen. Welcome back to German American Life and Vibes, the channel where we look at the most surprising, most delicious, most occasionally bewildering differences between Germany and America. Today, we are talking about drinks. Not one drink, not beer specifically, though yes, beer will feature prominently. All of it. The culture of what Germans drink, how they drink it, where they drink it, and the very firm opinions they hold about all of the above. And then, America, which has its own drinks culture, different in almost every possible way. Today, 3 stories. A law that is 500 years old and still running. A freedom that Germany has and America does not. And a drink so simple, so perfect, that it is somehow both the most German thing imaginable and deeply misunderstood by almost every American who encounters it. Let us begin. I want to tell you about a law. Not a recent law, not a modern regulation. A law from the year 1516. The Reinheitsgebot, the German beer purity law. It is, depending on how you count, the oldest food regulation still in active use anywhere in the world. It was written in Bavaria, before Germany as a nation even existed, and it said something very simple. Beer shall be made from nothing but water, barley, and hops. That is it. That is the whole law. 3 ingredients: water, barley, hops. Nothing else. No additives, no flavorings, no corn syrup, no artificial coloring, no stabilizers, no natural flavors that are somehow also artificial. Water, barley, hops. For context, in 1516, Leonardo da Vinci was still alive. The Americas had just been encountered by Europeans. The printing press was 50 years old, and Bavaria decided, in this particular historical moment, to get very serious about beer. Priorities: very clear, very correct. Now, America also makes beer. A lot of beer. The American craft beer movement that began in the 1980s is genuinely impressive. Thousands of independent breweries, enormous creativity, extraordinary range. Americans take their beer seriously, in their way. But American beer, commercially, industrially, has historically contained things the Reinheitsgebot would not recognize as beer at all. Rice, corn, stabilizers, ingredients chosen not for flavor, but for consistency, for scale, for the ability to produce the exact same product in a factory in New Jersey and a factory in California and have them taste identical. German brewers looked at this and felt a feeling that Germans are very good at feeling. Concerned, but politely so. Here is what I actually love about the Reinheitsgebot, though, because it is easy to laugh at it as quaint German rigidity. But there is something underneath it worth taking seriously. It is trust. When a German picks up a beer, any German beer, from any brewery, they know exactly what is in it. There is no label anxiety. There is no ingredient list to decode. The law is the label. It has been the label for 500 years. That is not rigidity. That is a 5-century promise kept. Which, in a world of ingredient labels that require a chemistry degree, is something. Here is something that surprises almost every American who visits Germany for the first time. You can drink in public. Not at a designated festival. Not in a licensed beer garden with a wristband and a security checkpoint. In public. On the street. In the park. On the train platform while you wait for your S-Bahn. On the actual train, if you like. Nobody calls the police. Nobody gives you a look. A person sitting on a bench in Munich on a Sunday afternoon with a Weissbier is not a problem to be managed. They are a person, on a bench, with a beer, on a Sunday afternoon, in Munich. This is allowed because it is fine. In America, in most of America, this is illegal. Open container laws prohibit alcohol in public spaces in the vast majority of U.S. states and cities. You can drink in your home. You can drink in a licensed bar or restaurant. You cannot, in most places, drink on a public street or in a public park. And here's the thing that gets me every time. Because America is a country that is very, very proud of its concept of freedom. Individual liberty. The right to make your own choices. It is in the national DNA. And yet, Germany, a country with an enormously complex relationship with its own history of authoritarianism, a country that has done deep, sustained work on what it means to be a free society. Germany trusts its citizens to have a beer in the park. The logic is simple. Most people, given a beer and a park bench, will sit, drink the beer, enjoy the park, and go home. They do not need to be stopped from doing this. They need to be left alone to do this. The American open container law has its history, of course. Much of it traces back to Prohibition, the 13-year experiment from 1920 to 1933 in which alcohol was banned entirely. Prohibition ended, but the anxiety it encoded into American law and culture, the sense that public drinking is inherently dangerous, inherently requiring regulation, that did not fully leave. Germany never had a prohibition. Germany looked at what was happening in America and, with characteristic German practicality, decided not to do it. Fewer problems that way. I am not saying America got everything wrong. I am saying that on this particular question, the question of whether a person can be trusted to drink a beer outside without society collapsing, Germany has been running a 500-year field trial. The results are in. Society did not collapse. There is a moment that every American has in Germany, usually on the first day, often in a restaurant. They sit down. They are thirsty. They want water, simple, free, just water. They say, "Can I have some water, please?" And the waiter says, "Still or sparkling?" And the American says, "Sorry, what?" In America, water at a restaurant is a given. It arrives automatically. It is free. It is still. It is tap water, and it comes to the table before you have even looked at the menu. In Germany, water is ordered. It comes in a bottle. It is mineral water, which means it has actual minerals in it, which means it has actual flavor, which is something American tap water does not always have. And it will cost you something. Not much, but something. This is not a trick. This is not Germany being difficult. This is a completely different relationship with water, with what drinking water means, with what you are putting in your body and where it comes from. And then there is the Schorle, the Apfelschorle, apple juice mixed with sparkling water, half and half usually, a drink so simple it barely sounds like a drink at all.
And yet, in Germany, the Apfelschorle is not just a drink. It is a cultural institution. Children drink it. Adults drink it at lunch. It is on every menu, in every cafe, in every beer garden alongside the actual beer. It is the drink you have when you are driving, the drink you have at a work lunch, the drink you have when you want something refreshing that is not quite juice and not quite water, but is, somehow, exactly right. Americans encounter the Apfelschorle and do not quite know what to do with it. It is too simple. It seems like something you would make at home because you ran out of juice. It seems like it cannot possibly be a whole cultural category of drink. It is. It absolutely is. The Schorle, the general category which can be made with any juice and sparkling water, has been part of German drinking culture for centuries. It is the everyday drink, the non-occasion drink, the drink that says, "I am not making a statement. I am simply hydrating, pleasantly." America, for comparison, has energy drinks. 400 varieties of sparkling water with hints of flavor. Drinkings named after extreme weather events. Drinkings that come in cans that look like they were designed to make your heart race just by looking at them. Germany has the Apfelschorle, a 500-year-old purity law that is still telling German brewers what goes in their beer. A freedom to drink in public that most of America still considers mildly dangerous. And a glass of apple juice and sparkling water that has somehow become one of the most beloved drinks in the country. What I find connecting all three of these things, underneath the humor, underneath the cultural comparison, is something about trust. Germany trusts its beer. It wrote the law. Germany trusts its people. It lets them drink outside. And Germany trusts that a simple thing, done well, is enough. You do not need 17 ingredients to make a good drink. You do not need a regulation free-for-all to enjoy one. You do not need a complicated flavor profile to reach for the same glass every day for your whole life and feel perfectly content. Simple, reliable, goad. That is, honestly, a very fine philosophy for a drink, and possibly for other things too. Prost. Cheers. To tschüss. Bis bald. If this episode made you want an Apfelschorle or a very good German beer, and ideally both, give it a like, subscribe if you are new, and leave me a comment below. What drink makes you feel most at home, German or American? And have you ever ordered water in Germany and got a surprise? I want to know. Prost. Tschüss. Bis bald.